Okay, this, you are not gonna believe this. One of my favorite... Scratch that. My favorite card game, just... Also one of the only... Pretty much the only card game I play, and or have played, and... Have played. Haha, get it. In many years. The DC Comics / Lord of the Rings, etc. deck building games by Cryptozoic have finally come to Steam. Sort of. I'm kidding. This is a fake cover, obviously. It's incredibly shoddily made. No. But, yeah, whoever you are out there who's also been wishing for this, as as I have, we got that wish granted. How exactly, though? Boom. What is this? No, seriously, what is it? Somebody tell me. This is Shards the Deckbuilder. What do we say about this? It is. I don't put it. Okay, so I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna try to be objective about it. It's a clone of the Kerberos engine series of deck building games. Now, to be fair, Cryptozoic is not the only people who have ever made a deck building game before. There have been others before, but this one, but that's the one that I'm most familiar with. I have tried two others. I only played them like once or twice each. Right, Legendary and Dominion. So I at least know that there are, some commonalities. But when I say this is a clone, I mean like there are verbatim like the types, right? The gameplay style, right? You got like the way the board is set up and all the different parts and players and stuff. It is basically the same, right? Now obviously they have to change a couple names, not names of characters. Obviously, I mean like names of the different gameplay elements. Just a couple, and also the colors, right? The color coding of different things. But this is the video game version of Cryptozoic series of Kerberos engine, DC Comics, Lord of the Rings, etc. deck building games. But the generic version. The generic video game, online, internet connected version, right? And I'll demonstrate that very shortly. I like this. Actually, I think is probably one of the. This has been a good month. No, I'm not gonna lie. This is a great Christmas holiday, all things considered. As far as this particular, okay, so. Yeah, I'll start getting the particulars in this game. It is still in development, right? I don't know how long they're gonna last, right? Well, I really hope they get to continue, because I've been like, I mean, it's been in the back of my mind, right? I haven't been like, screaming it from the rooftops. But if you ever run into me on the street, you might hear me muttering to myself about it. That's a little self-deprecating humor, but whatever. So we got hold up. Check. Is it showing my mouse cursor? Oh, it's not showing my mouse cursor. Oh, that could be a problem. Really? Wait, how do I get... view. Show... What the hell? Where did I put this to the top? No? Oh, hold on, something's... It's not... Damn it, are you kidding me? Fine. Resolution full screen. What if I hit on with that? Would it show me if I... What? Oh, now it wants to work? Seriously? No full screen for you. Is it? Okay, now we have the game back. I don't know why that... Okay, fine. My own technical difficulties aside, this is Shards. Silly name, but but the gameplay is still solid, right? It is, of course, for obvious reasons, a bit different than how I play at home, because I don't really have people that I get to play with. It's basically just my family, and of which only mom ever wants to play. So it is basically just, me and her back and forth. And of course, so this game, I don't know if Shards is going to. It might only go up to like 4 players, right? But now this particular game, at least the original, right? When I say the original, I'll be referring either to the one, like the entire line of products made by Cryptozoic, right, of the deck building games. So DC 1, 2, 3, etc. The various spin-offs and expansions of that. The 3 Lord of the Rings movies, The Hobbit, the first sequel. They haven't done the second one last time I checked of that. Also Street Fighter was a one-off. Well, Naruto a one-off. Attack on Titan a one-off. They're doing more than one Rick and Morty. That one I can sort of understand. Obviously that's a bit more in demand and stuff. Now as far as I know, there's no affiliation between. I mean, I guess I could. If we check the credits, let me see if I see any. No, not you. Menu. Credits. Matt Hyra. Correction. This is made by the people who made the Kerberos. No wonder it's the same. That's the guy. Here, let me just. I'm gonna double check real fast. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I should have looked at that first. No, okay. But for the properties. Special thanks. Wait, do I recognize any of these? Yes, I just double-checked. Matt Hyra, yes, he made the Kerberos engine. Only this thing's just not being called the Kerberos engine. I don't know if maybe they'll put that in. I don't recognize any of the other names, but maybe that's just because, I didn't pay attention or anything. Yeah, you can see Matt Hyra's name on the box. No wonder it's the same thing. How do I go back? Okay, well, thank you for bringing your amazing creation to a generic plane. Now, when I say generic, I'm not saying that in a negative, and I'm not saying that in a positive, right? Like, because maybe you want, maybe you like that better, right? Because obviously, like with DC Comics, right? I've heard it being sold as, a superhero card game. That's like, it's not untrue, but that I don't think that really tells you what it's like, right? In this case, now we have more of a a World of Warcraft or Warhammer, maybe not Warhammer, right? Ish kind of thing. And actually, maybe if I were to look at some of the artists, they probably have some artists in common with that. The Blizzard crew, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. Did I say World of Warcraft? I meant Magic the Gathering, but as far as like, okay, maybe less talking, more doey. Okay, I'm gonna be showing off some of the gameplay. I'm gonna try and explain a bit of what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm also gonna be comparing it. Like, when I say, like, the original, I'm talking about the thing that Matt Hyra also did first. As far back as, I don't remember if it was the very end of 2012 or is the end of 2013, right? But I actually got into these games in 2014 when they released Street Fighter, the deck building game. Actually, I don't think they say it quite like that, but I remember, Street Fighter, the storytelling game I've heard of, so it's whatever. Okay, excuse me. So, like I said, it is in development, it is free to play, but a lot of the features are hidden behind a paywall, right? So, so 2 things. One, okay, so this is one of those where they're really leaning into, and actually, if I were to boot up the game, they tell me they want me to buy some of these. I don't know how many you really need for the foreseeable future, but you would need to spend at least $10 to get all of what they have now, but then you still have some left over, because this is what they got as far as gold champions, right? And okay, so yeah. So at least $5 to get like all the current playable characters. But if you want all the content that we have for the near future, you would have to drop $10. Yeah. So the gold coins here, tokens, right? That's the premium currency. This purple stuff, I played a few games, so I earned some of these. It's called Void Ether, but you got to play a lot of games where you can start buying stuff with them. This is all you can buy with the purple coins. They're cubes, right? So you have card backs, and I want these more so. Renscat, that's a dumb name. But yeah, like as I'm going through, oh my god, Is that the Eye of Truth from The Legend of Zelda? I kid, but for real. Yeah, again, so yeah, it's almost exactly the same as the physical game. I don't think, I can't do local multiplayer. Yeah, and also, sorry, when I say it's free to play, the only thing you can only play one-on-one against a computer. Because I don't know, I think online play is locked behind a door or something. Yeah, because it said, can I? Wait, if I say no, oh yeah, there. See, yeah, it doesn't let me start if there's no. What's this? Social search. Sure. Can I add? Oops, that's no one. Whatever. Maybe I'll try to add my brother later. Anyways, as far as I know, you can only play against a computer one-on-one. You know, if you're going the free route. And there are only 4 different playable characters, right? So what'll happen is, at the start of the match, they'll give you 2 random ones that you get to pick from, right? And then your opponent, your computer opponent, will randomly pick one of the other 2. So what is kind of interesting is, he does take advantage, whatever. Let's just say see, now that I know it's Matt Hyra, now I'm just like, oh, yeah, like, no wonder it was allowed to be exactly the same. Right. Now, obviously, there are differences because, this has to take place on a screen, not a table. Although, I will say, one of my common complaints with the game is that it does eat up a lot of space. Like, for not requiring a board, you still need a lot of space in order to play the damn game. But I still love it. Like, don't get me wrong. I haven't even looked at this yet. They have a game log. Okay, that's... Oh, that's probably the best how you can see what your opponent did during a turn. Now, obviously, they have to do the interface in a certain way because, video game, not physical game. I like how they, what's kind of interesting is seeing, like, you do get a lot of not familiar faces, but familiar cards, right, that are verbatim exactly the same as something from the existing games, right? And I'll be mentioning them as I go, as I see them. Okay, so I have played a few, which is too bad because I actually had a lot of great reactions last night. So this gaming channel, no. Okay, so the 4 players they got, okay, so instead of superheroes or heroes or characters, they're called champions. Okay, that's easy enough to understand. So what we got? We got Marshall Josephina, who is that, and that was the character that I got in the tutorial. I don't know if that's required. She is the same as Lex Luthor, specifically the playable Lex Luthor from the Forever Evil, right, DC3. And over here we have Bertram Cragraven, who is, and he's a baddie, right? Like the mech dwarves are considered villains in this game. And Artifact, if you're familiar, right, is that's equipment, right? So that's the Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth equivalent of every other game's equipment card type. In the NHL, it's called skill. Anyways, yeah, so he is verbatim. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. He was actually slightly worse, slightly weaker. For each different artifact, really? Oh, okay, I read that wrong. Okay, so he's slightly weaker, but basically the same thing as... Actually, maybe I better double check her. For each hero you bought or gain this turn, draw an extra card. Okay, yeah, see? So the wording is a little cleaner, right? So, like, for example, in the physical game, this text would be even smaller, right? And it might say, draw an extra card into your hand before, this, that, or the... I don't know, it's... Or like, for example, like, you'll see a card, it'll just say, gain all artifacts, right? They don't have to specify, right? And because the computer is handling it, it doesn't have to specify from the lineup, or else you're like, okay, well, there are some destroyed artifacts over here. I see some in my enemy's discard pile. There's some in his deck, too. I bet if I were to look in there. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you'd have to be, like, basically, like, since the computer handles it, they can be a lot more cleaner in the wording. But also, they take advantage of the fact that... Okay, actually, I'm not sure. I didn't want to do these. I like the other 2 characters. quite honestly. I did okay with him. Okay, I'll be this jackass. And who's my opponent? Oh yeah, that's the one I like. Not for furry reasons. No, I mean, he actually has... No, see, because he actually has an ability that would not... It's not that it would be impossible to replicate, but it would be incredibly difficult to replicate in the physical game. You see, because... so his mechanic, right, is the prophecy, right? So what that does is it actually adds 1 power... And I'm guessing later cards they might do like 2 power, but so far all the prophecies I've seen is just 1. He'll add power as like a permanent fixture to the next card on your deck, right? And if you can't see what it is, then it's like that could be a nasty surprise, right? But so like the prophecies, right? It's not just his ability, also the cards that are part of like his set, effectively, right? But anyone can get them. They keep tacking on power to cards, so they can actually become powered up over time. And you can have cards that previously had like 1 or no power. All of a sudden, by the end of the game, they'll have like 3 or 4. Or if not, then it's still like you can still wind up getting a lot of cards like let's look at the lineup here. No, go away. Like okay, so this card right here, right, and that's not my fetish, but like you said, okay, so it has no power, right? So oh, and that's another thing. So power is listed in this hexagon rather than being in the text of the card. I'm already getting a headache from shouting at myself in a closed box. Yeah, I probably should calm down. This is a thinking man's game, not a... Okay, but like, for example... Oh, sorry, by the way. You can right-click or double-click on a card, not to play it or get it, but to observe it, right? To zoom in on it. And then you can... press the arrows or, scroll them. So I think this is I think this is probably very touchscreen compatible. It doesn't work with my tablet, though. Drawing tablet, not tablet computer. But like, for example, this card has draw a card, right? And no power. But you add the prophecy to it, all of a sudden it becomes +1 and draw a card, right? Now, if you're not familiar with this type of game, that might seem like, okay, well, what's the point, right? Oh, okay, so essentially what it is... So both players start out the same, right? You just have, right, you have a deck of 10 cards that are all crap, and you play them, and like, they're kind of, right, so 7 cards are +1s, 3 of the cards are +0s, right? They do nothing, right? But again, like I was saying with the prophecy, they could potentially be, all raised up, but they're all also worthless, right? So you look at a card here, so... It's got 1, 0, 0, right? So this number over here in the lower right, the big number, that's the cost, right? So when the card is in the lineup, or over here on the, well, they call it boss in this game, but usually it's the supervillain stack, or I might say super V for short. And by the way, this guy right here, Urnaz, he is verbatim, with the exception of the fact that he's a boss type, which is a different type, because like in the main DC line, the supervillains are considered villains, right? So like they play just like villains, but of course they're off to the, they're much more bigger and expensive and off to the side. Other than the type, because and this actually is and so this is actually something that they borrowed from the Cartoon Network deck building game by making the supervillains their own type. Their own separate type rather than the same as something that you get out of the main deck. This over here is the main deck, right? So this number shows you how many cards are in the main deck right now, right? So it started out at 100. He bought my opponent bought a card from the lineup last turn, so 1 flipped out in the middle, right? So the lineup is usually 5 cards. As far as I know, there are no Super Vs that actually force more cards into the lineup. But in the physical games, in the originals, there are a number of ways to get more cards into the lineup. To say nothing of the Crisis expansions. Okay, so again, for streamlining purposes, they do have this play all button, right? Now, usually I don't like to play all my junk cards, right? And also, I think there's like a preset order that they might play the cards in. I haven't really gotten into that because I am so familiar with the Kerberos Engine games. Actually, speaking of which, better stop thinking real fast. Wait, what did he get? Oh, he got Awaken. Okay. Right. Okay. So yeah. So since I was already very familiar with, even I did like the tutorial level, but it took like 10 times as long as it should have. But I also won because I knew what the heck I was doing. Anyways, all right. So I mentioned. Okay. So Marshall Josephina, right? She's the same as Lex Luthor, right? Um, that's not to say that she's supposed to be villainous, right? But because her ability involves you getting heroes, right? So you could view that as, oh, I'm defeating the heroes or capturing them, or just I'm adding more to the team, right? So you can interpret it either way; it still works. Him being the same as Batman or Dexter, if you want to be really honest. And there's also one guy, but I don't remember his name because I don't do sports, from the NHL deck building game who also had the same ability. Almost the same ability, right? Minus one word, but that effectively makes him a Superman style Batman. It's don't worry about it. The character that we haven't seen so far is a heroic character as far as this game is concerned. And he's I think like some kind of an orc leader. It's an orc champion of a sort. And his effect is he's like a weaker version of Aquaman. But again, and I'm not, in this, this could be like game balance or whatever. So I'm not dissing it. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. But it also, instead of it being an option, he'll force you to use his ability, and that is that any card that you buy or gain out of the lineup that has a cost of 4 or less goes on top of your deck rather than into your discard pile. Wow, that's a mouthful. Whereas Aquaman, from the original DC, has he can do a cost of 5, and he can also take a kick, aka Valor. Now in this game it's Valor, but it actually has the same stats as, again, from the Cartoon Network deck building game, the Inside Joke, which was their version of kick. Basically, in the sense that man, this really is a mouthful trying to explain this to, and like, as the audience, you probably have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. And okay, so again, so the game is free to play. So if you were to play it, you can go through the tutorial level, and they'll explain to you all the different concepts, as you see them coming, right? So okay, so like you see how there's cards of different colors here, right? And different types. The type listed at the bottom. So this is considered a villain. I know she didn't look very villainous, but in this game, the rabbits, they have like this Oriental rabbit faction, right? That are, I guess they're trying to conquer the world. I mean, use your imagination. Heroes, and again, I guess so they got like they got like an indigenous anthro peoples faction. And here we got an artifact, and oh, this is interesting. Another thing that also you can tell I'm passionate about this game too. Okay, so this one says artifact attack, right? Now attack is not a card type, but a lot of times in the mainline games, they do want to specify cards that are attacks or defenses, right? But that's not their card type, right? Okay, so like the thing about the card types is like all the different card types are played similarly, right? So these are all starters, right? Because they're, because you literally start out with them. But the method for playing a starter is the same as the method for playing a hero, villain, artifact. Action is the other card type, right? No, not you. Right here, see? So he has an action, right? So that's equivalent to that's equivalent to DC's and Street Fighter's superpower card type, which used to be orange. Or in Lord of the Rings, it's still orange, but they call it a maneuver. Alright, so anyways, okay, so you see here we have this warty looking unfortunate fellow. I don't want to have to. So okay, so the shard is equivalent to the punch, or in Lord of the Rings called courage, or in Rick and Morty it's called genius waves. All it does is give you a +1 power, right? It's worthless otherwise. And this here, the Dingler, that's equivalent to the vulnerability, aka despair, aka I don't remember what it's called in Rick and Morty. In Cartoon Network, it's called a pratfall, but that one actually has a secondary effect. So I'll be sticking mostly to the DC lineup, because that's where also most of the copy cards. I don't say copy like in a bad way, come from. I really got to put like a timestamp or something and say like, skip ahead to X timestamp if you want to actually see me start playing, because I've done nothing but talking up to now. Wow, and I've started a lot of sentences without actually... Okay, so Uranaz is, aside from the type, is exactly the same as Raz Al Ghul, or I guess, sorry, Ra's al Ghul is proper pronunciation, right? As in, right, he gives you 4 VP, costs 8, he starts on top of the deck, so he has no first appearance attack, or in this game they just simply call it a boss attack, right? When this goes to your discard pile from play, put it on the bottom of your deck, right? That's the same as Raz. That's the same as the one in DC. Although again, like different wording, right? Because they have to specify on the bottom of whose deck. Because like if you were to use like X-Ray Vision, Starro, Tanden Engine, Gedo Statue, something whatever to take the supervillain out of someone else's hand and then you play it, right? If you just leave the wording as ambiguous as this, you might think, oh, well, I get to keep it now, right? And you just have stolen 4 VP from the other person plus a decently powerful card, right? So 3 that's a lot for the beginning of the game, but towards the end of the game, that should be about your average. Maybe like your average power should be like somewhere between 2 and 3, hopefully closer to 3. So the thing is, right, sorry, I mentioned you start with a deck of 10 cards. The way a deck building game works is you never really run out of cards in your own personal deck. It's every time you run out of cards, but then you go to draw or interact with your deck in any way, then you reshuffle the discard pile, and then it turns into the deck again, right? But then the discard pile is suddenly emptied. At the start of each turn, you draw 5 cards. Not the start, at the end of each turn, right? You discard everything. And this number here is the power, right? So I mentioned like power, that's the currency, as they always describe it in the rules. My left ear is really ringing. Can I like reduce feedback? What does this button do? No, don't mess with anything. Okay, so the number on the lower right, that's the cost of a card. You need power to meet or exceed the cost of a card that you want to get, right? But if you look over here, so like this one's a 2, I have 4 power. I could get this plus this, because this is also a 2, right? Okay, so one thing that's different from the physical game in this game, and I don't know if that's intentional, right? Because it might be, or it might just be an error in, because the game is still a work in progress, right? So they have a report a bug feature, I don't know. But like a Valor, right? So normally you'd be able to buy more than one Valor or Kick or Inside Joke or Air Gear or whatever they're calling it in a particular installment. Not Air Gear. 3D Gear. That's Air Gear is something else. In a particular turn. This game will let you do 1 per turn. At least so far. Again, I don't know if that's a permanent feature, but let's just list it as a difference. And Valor also, one thing I was trying to mention. So this number in the star, that's VP, or victory points. VP for short. So that's how much a card is worth at the end of the game, right? The idea is to end the game with the highest score. The game will end when either these run out, or when these run out, right? Now, there are 9 of these and 99 of these, so usually it's going to be these. But if you're playing against like a, depending on the installment, like for example, like in the Street Fighter deck building game, because of the way that one works, and also because of also the various asterisks. Because look here, see this one, the VP value on this one is a variable, whereas this is a constant. You see, because of the availability of that, depending on an installment, you may find yourself like stalemating your opponent a lot, and like nobody really wants to grab the supervillain because what? Excuse me, I'm sorry, or the boss in this case, right? Yeah, see, it gets locked. Right, so this thing is when you see the skull, that means you can buy this card, right? But yeah, and also to buy this card, you can't just like drag it to your deck. You click and drag it to your deck, as I'll demonstrate. So you actually have to double click here and then click the skull button, and then you can watch your power blow up this frame. And I probably shouldn't spoil it, but forgot what I was mentioning. Oh yeah, sorry. So yeah, and also one thing that is different, and this one I guess technically wouldn't be impossible, but it would be impractical, and also seriously slow down the game. But you can actually see a running total of you and your opponent's victory points, right? As you're going along, right? So I'm a 0, obviously, because I just started. Okay, so all right, so your starter cards are essentially worthless, right? And see, even though these ones do give me power, keep in mind that you only get to draw 5 cards a turn, so you want to get rid of all the wimpy, weak cards, and also worthless ones, as much as possible, right? Now, okay, so this gives 1 power, this also gives 1 power, right? But this one is worth 1 VP, so even if we ignored this middle effect, right, which can potentially be great, you know, I would still probably want to keep this at the end of the game, if possible, because it adds to my total score. Whereas these junk cards down here, right, and junk is not an official term, I'll just use that, are worthless, but also the Valor, right? Now, it gives you a 2 power boost, right, making it equivalent to, again, Valor or Kick, or one of the other things. And Rick and Morty, it's Portal Gun, actually. Although, oh no, that one I think also has it at 0 VP. Or if you're more familiar with Dominion, you know, A, good on you. But B also, you know, this is roughly equivalent to, I think, silver. It was. Although Dominion, they also had gold as like a next level up of the Kick/Valor. But this one just has the 1, right? So this over here, just real fast, the Banes, not to be confused with the Batman villain Bane, which actually does have a doppelganger in this deck. I'll mention it when I see her. Yeah, this is the equivalent of weakness, aka corruption, aka Morty waves, aka penalty, aka, you know, it's got a lot of, right? So it's another junk card similar to the Dingler, aka vulnerability, but this one actually lowers your score rather than simply not adding to it, right? And it's also a junk card, so, you know, it a +0, so it doesn't help you at all. When you see cards that allow you to destroy, so far there are no cards that I've seen, at least for the free-to-players, that allow you to pass cards, right? Which is another way to get rid of cards by pawning them off onto other people. Although sometimes in the original, there are some cards that would have you pass against your will, right? But then, you know, which might require you to give away cards that are actually good. Whereas when you do it by your will, usually it's to get rid of bad ones. I have talked a hell of a lot. His point is, so yeah, I don't see any yet, but there are destroyer cards that will allow you to get rid of cards of junk or other unwanted cards. Including, like, later, I found myself destroying Valor a lot because, you know, like, all the better cards wound up, you know, like Valor wound up, because it doesn't add to your score, it's, you know, it's not really a risky loss. Okay, so another thing, a decent, okay, so a good/decent approach is to try and get the cards that complement your character, right? And they even give you that hint in the tutorial, right? So in his case, like I mentioned, so this is essentially the same thing as Batman, or Dexter, right? And that is that he gets a power boost for each different. Okay, so with Batman's case, it would be every single artifact or equipment. But in Bertram's case, it's each different one, right? Which is a limitation more like Superman, where we would say every different superpower. Though there is a different gameplay balance reason for that. So if I were to pick this would be an incredibly powerful card when I get it around, when it shuffles back into my hand. But for strategic, I don't know, and that is an interesting attack though. And also I haven't had it used against me yet, so I'm not sure how it works. And also the way attacks and defenses are handled in this game is also probably one of the biggest differences, I think, between the physical and digital versions of the game. That I'll explain if I see it. If not, then I'll explain at the end. But I think, okay, for strategic reasons, I think I'm going to want to get this thing. The Milky Eye Infiltrator. Now, as far as I know, there's no exact clone of this from the original, but it is similar to a handful of different ones, a couple different cards, such as Rolento, or Rolento from Final Fight. He was in the Street Fighter deck building game. Or Killer Frost from Crisis 1. And that is, see, it's because, okay, even though he's really inexpensive here, I think they probably want to do that to, I don't know if it's more of a trollsy move or more of a forgiving for, like, newer players, right? So ongoing cards are incredibly powerful in this type of game. So I think I might want to get him. Now, again, a +1 power, yeah, it's not great. But the thing is, I do not want my opponent having that attack, because if I see locations, I want to be able to keep them, right? Those are a type of ongoing card, and so far the only good ongoing cards in this game. Likewise, if my opponent gets ongoing cards, I want him to dump them as fast as possible. So again, because I have 4 power starting out, I'm going to get this, right? And so, okay, so to get a card, you can either double click or right click it and then click on this thing. And usually what that does is it also, right, because like buying and gaining cards is not the only thing that you do with cards. Sometimes, sometimes it'll say like move or whatever. So oftentimes I'll do this just to get it to wherever it's, it wants me to move the card. Right, but you can also just click and drag, right? Okay, so the end turn button, right? So right now it's glowing like this. I can just click it, right, and end the turn. If there are other... Oh, yeah, look, hey, see, a location. Oh, okay, so I can't get it yet. So I'm not going to play all this time. Let's play some cards here, right? So those are all +1s. This is the power counter. I got 3 power. I got 2 options here. I can get a Valor, which I'm not going to do, because, well, I already have one, but, it's good to have multiple, but it also doesn't really help me. Technically, to be fair, this one will also not give me any VP yet, but I want that function more. So what's kind of nice is it's still possible for you to do things in your turn. If you try to hit the end turn button, it doesn't immediately work. You have to click and hold it until it ends the rest of your stuff, right? Because I think, like, hello, you got stuff. Do you want to do stuff? Or maybe even, like, if you miss, and, like, if you still have power, like at least 2 power, and then you see, oh, there's a Valor up there, or something like, oh, here we go, the Time Bug. And I think this is what I'm going to be getting here, right? Because now I'm going to play towards my character's strength, right? So he gets a power boost for artifacts. So Time Bug is kind of a weird mixture of 2 different versions of the Batmobile, right? So in the original DC1, right? The original, the very original. The Batmobile is this, except instead of 4 cards, it's 5, right? So it's a 2-cost equipment that gives 1 VP, and then it says if this is the first card that you have played, well, okay, I'll use this wording because I don't have the other one on me. If this is the first card played this turn, discard your hand and draw 4 cards. The Batmobile would say 5, but a later installment, Rivals 1, actually had a Batmobile that was 4 cards, but it cost 3 and gave otherwise 2 power. So this one is actually the worst of both worlds. Essentially the worst of both worlds. Well, no, because I guess it could be a 3 cost. But yeah, it's not a very powerful card, but it could potentially give you a turn. Like, if you've been forced to discard a lot of cards, or if you just draw a hand that's, like, you get, like, all 3 of your dinglers, but you have the Time Bug here, it'll allow you to, draw essentially a new hand, right? But if you don't, but it's not going to let you do that if you already started playing your hand. So at that point, it just becomes a weak card. But because I have a power boost from artifacts, this will be a +2, like a Valor, which also costs 2, but doesn't give me this other effect or any victory points. I want this, for sure. Now, of course, because I only have 1 power, there's nothing for 1, and as far as I know, this deck doesn't have any one-cost cards. One-cost cards also were not introduced until DC2, but that was, like, 3 months later. Like, anyways, yeah. Oh, this is an amazing card right here. This here, Eternal Guardian, is basically the same thing as Blue Beetle, except it's an artifact instead of a hero. Again, we'll put that aside. Oh, sorry, I forgot to call out this clone earlier. Dreamsmoke Mystic is Zatanna Zatara from DC1. That is to say, a 4-cost hero, 1 VP, 1 power, put up to 2 cards, right? So you don't have to do it at all, you could just ignore it. From your discard pile to the bottom of your deck, right? Essentially, like taking cards that you want to draw again sooner, or you can line up, you could put 2 cards that work really, that combine well together, right, for devastating effect, right next to each other, so you'll wind up drawing them right next to each other. Forgotten Forge. Okay, so this is the Batcave, right? Except, evil. So, yeah, it's a 5-cost location. It gives you 1 VP, right? When you play it, it has an ongoing effect, right? So unless someone uses the Melky Eye Infiltrator to knock it off the field, then it'll allow me to. So this effect will take place once every turn, right? Now obviously thematically this belongs to Bertram and his mech dwarves, or even just Lord of the Rings style type. I don't know why this reminds me of RPG Maker. Anyways, yeah, so once during your turn, when you play an artifact, draw a card. Oh, actually, no, this is actually slightly better than the Batcave, right? And the other locations... See, the other locations in this set are the same as the other locations in DC1. But the way they're worded actually is more forgiving, right? Because, like, for example, like the Batcave says, the first time you play an equipment. So if you play an equipment, then you draw cards, and then you play the Batcave, you can't use this effect on the same turn. But if I remember correctly, I was actually playing last night, and I got to a point where I played a location after I'd played one of the qualifying cards. But then after I played it, then I was able to draw a card afterwards. So, wait, what did I do? Oh, right, I have nothing, so I'm gonna... Yeah, again, yeah, just more word. I gotta start playing. Okay, here we go. So see, in this hand, I drew the Valor. Right? So even though I have this worthless SOB... Okay, that's mean. I'm sorry. I really don't like this guy, but I don't think it's his fault. But I will go ahead and play all because my turn is really simple. I want the Forgotten Forge. Okay. But yeah, so you see, like, yeah, okay, now it's getting interesting, and it looks like he did something to me. What happened? Okay, here we go. The attack. Big difference. When you get attacked in the original, you have to deal with it right away. In this game, this is part of the streamlining process, and it's got pros and cons. Or a pro and a con, and then like a neutral, right? All the attacks that happen between your turn and your next turn get queued up, and then right before your next turn, you have to deal with them all in order, right? On the bright side, it does help speed things along, right? Because if you're playing online with like 3 other people, you can't be taking 10, 15 minutes for all your turn. I, of course, would be guilty of this. So I can understand why they do it. A con would be like, because if like especially with just 2 players, right? 1-on-1v1. Then when you have like multiple attacks and like maybe limited defenses or stuff, like your opponent has a lot of attacks, but you don't know what he has for that turn, right? So there's a bluffing game going on between you, right? Your opponent might throw a weak attack first and try to go the opponent into defending, right? Only for them to be defenseless when they throw a much worse attack, right? Okay, real fast. Attacks and defenses are between players, right? But a defense also works against bosses, because the bosses will attack all players equally in between bosses, right? So like the first one doesn't do anything, but after the first one is defeated, and then every time afterwards, the next boss who appears will initiate an attack against all players. Excuse me. Okay, and so this box up here, right, this little info box, okay, so when it's an opponent's turn, you'll see all the attacks that went against that opponent flash by here really quickly, showing either a sword and then like a scar to show that it hit, or a sword and then a red sword, well, it's a red sword either way, and then a blue shield to indicate that they defended against a particular attack, right? But it'll just name the card, right, that attacked, right? For example, in this case, we have Azure Fang Hierarch. Attack, put a random starter from your discard pile on top of your deck. Okay. This is my discard pile. There's nothing in here right now, right? So you can click... Oh, sorry. The different zones, right? So this is my discard pile. You can left-click on a zone. So discards, ongoings. Okay, well, you can't see what's in your deck because that's part of the point. And here we have the Devil's Eyeball. No, you have the Void. So that's the equivalent of the destroyed pile, right? And I have seen one card, but I haven't actually used it yet, that can pull a card out of the destroyed pile. Those tend to be quite interesting. Not always useful, but potentially. Depending on the game. Okay. Anyways, but yeah. So if there were multiple attacks between my turns, like for example, like if he threw 2 attacks and then got the supervillain or boss, and then the boss comes out and attacks everyone, he would have already handled it on his turn, or maybe the next turn. I'm a little iffy on the timing, but then it would show like his attack here, and then his next attack here, and then the boss's his attack card up here, right? So you can zoom in and see what it does, right? Because then, okay, so if you're on the receiving end, right, it's a form of convenience to be able to see all the attacks that are coming, right? And again, also help with the speed, right? So even though that the whole like bluffing game is lost, you can, you now have precognition about all the different possible attacks that are coming, and you can, more confidently choose how to defend. Although I can't defend this turn, but sometimes, I'll show some defense when I get some. And again, similar to the end turn button, we have the none button glowing here, so I just have to click it. But if I had a defense and I was choosing not to defend against a particular attack, right? Because in that case, that had no effect, right? I didn't have a discard pile, so we could move a starter over here on top of my deck, which would, again, it's not that punishing, but it would slow me down, right? Because these are weak cards, and I have cards like this in the deck that would be much more powerful, right? And because it's random, who knows? It could be this, or it could be this, and it could really mess me up for my next turn, right? But yeah, again, if I just click it and don't hold, it won't let me end the turn. I'm gonna guess, because obviously I haven't played against a human opponent, I'm gonna guess that on a regular game, this would be slowly moving towards the end turn just automatically. And then, giving you a time limit to do your turns. Because obviously my first turn took like 15 minutes because I was just explaining everything. Let's go ahead and start off here. Blossoming Concubine, draw a card. Okay, so it's worth 0 VP right now, but its effect is if I get more, every time I get one of these, it'll add to his VP value. So this is effectively like the squad card, if you would. As in, like, as I call after, like, the Suicide Squad in the original, but the Suicide Squad worked way different. Like, the squad cards usually work pretty differently, right? So, like, Suicide Squad from DC1 and Agents of Shadaloo from Street Fighter worked kind of similarly, but like DC2 had Manhunter, right? They worked, totally differently. Like, their VP was just 1 no matter what, but they had a power bonus, but not if they were played at the same time. If you played one while you had others in the discard pile, that has no bearing on this game. So in this case, and again, this is another one of those things where, like, it takes advantage of, like, the fact that this is a video game, and you can just use coding to apparate stuff. So every time you buy this card, from the lineup, it might add 1 or 2 extras of itself to the main deck. It would, so they'll pop out later at some point, right? And then you can pick it up and, repeat the process, right? Here we go. I definitely want to play Forgotten Forge. So I played it, and it went into my ongoing, right? So you can click it here. You can also check your opponents by clicking on them, and then you can see in the green zone. Let's see. Well, he doesn't have any ongoing, so this isn't really going to do anything, but go ahead and have that. So yeah, if I right-click or double-click or double-tap, right, it'll zoom in on the card, and I can just choose to play it like that rather than drag it into here or hit the play all button. I don't know, I guess Exalted Professor. Okay, not a great turn, but okay, and again, it's asking me if I'm just gonna go, just whatever. Let's just see. Okay. Okay, I don't like what he... Okay, I'm gonna check the law. What the hell did he do? Sagebrush, turn 6. No, turn... I'm going backwards. Okay, here we go. Sagebrush, turn 6. Play a sync action. Wait, what? Oh! Oh, asynchronous action. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, so at the start of his turn, he had to deal with the attack that I did, but he didn't really defend against it because it wouldn't have mattered. Okay, what? Wait. Play. What do you do? What? Oh, okay. Okay, so, wait, what'd he get? Okay, so acquire. He gained Tome of Power. Okay, so Tome of Power is kind of a weird mix of... Okay, here we go. Okay, I don't have a boss, so this isn't going to do anything. I'm just going to hit none. Anyways, yeah, the Tome of Power, I haven't figured it. It's kind of a weird take on Power Ring, but it has a little bit of Quiver of Arrows, but it's really weak by itself. I don't know. Okay, so this is a good turn, right? So I have a bunch of my starters, weak, right? I'm going to play the Time Bug. Now, because it's an artifact, I will still get some power from this card thanks to Bertram. But we're going to ditch these weak cards and see what I get next. Oh, and because I had the Forgotten Forge, after that card was done doing its thing, I got to draw a card because of Forgotten Forge, right? So I wound up with a little... Okay, I got mostly the same hand, but with Valor on top of that. So we're going to finish playing the rest. 6. Okay, that is way better. And he totally took the damn Mech Guardian, didn't he? What the hell? Yep. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that he has a great defense now. That's really not good. Okay. Okay, let's get Whirling Brutalizer. And okay, so Whirling Brutalizer is actually a slightly weaker version of Swamp Thing from DC1. And so what he is right, so he's a hero. He costs 4, 1 VP, plus 2 power, right? But the way Swamp Thing words it is, it's plus 2 or plus 5 if you have a location. I always thought that was a little bit, tiny bit overpowered, right? But a lot of the cards in DC1 were slightly OP, right? So it evened out, right? So here we have, so the brutalizer here, right? The way it's worded is plus 2 and then another plus 2 if you have a location or if you control a location, right? So it's not enough to have it in your deck. It actually has to be on the field. That's good. It's essentially the same thing. Ozawa's Totem is the same as Lasso of Truth from DC1. Or Benson's Clipboard from Cartoon Network. 2 cost, artifact, aka equipment. It's a plus 1, 1 VP, 1 power, and it's a defense. You just discard it to avoid an attack, and then you draw a card. Some cards, defenses have various effects, right? So, like, for example, there's another one that's the same thing as Super Speed from the original, which you would draw 2 cards instead of just 1. But again, thinking about our character here, right? Power bonus for the artifact, definitely want this. In case you couldn't tell, that was part of the indigenous animals pack. Oh, we got one of our prophecy here. Okay, look, now we got some interesting choices here. But first, let's see real fast. Okay, I don't think... No, not me. You. Oh, yeah. Okay, he still doesn't have anything. Let's go ahead and see what I got. Wow. Terrible turn. I'll go ahead and play all. Seriously? Okay, yeah, this is actually kind of tough. The Crazy Raider would be best on power. This would be the best investment, but this would keep me safe. And also be an investment, right? Because these have the prophecy ability on them. Shoot, I'm not sure. Well, he can do a prophecy naturally, so I think... Jeez, I'm not sure. Damn it. Okay, I think I'll go defensively. Oh, and another thing, there's no undo button. I don't know if they're gonna add that later, but like I haven't found a way to do that. Oh yeah, just real fast. Okay, so you can click on this player profile thing. If you click on the avatar, it cycles through them, but in a random order. So just keep clicking until you find a face that you like. Here, I'm gonna stick with the hooded rabbit character. Um, yeah, get your jokes out now. Okay, so yeah, another reason this game will go a lot faster than a physical one is because the shuffling is handled instantaneously, right? So, oh, what's this? Oh yeah. See, yeah, I don't gotta worry about you. Yeah, right? Because like, I saw my cards here, and then boom, already come out, right? Come out of the other end, and again, you can see the number here, and it also shows you how much is in his hand, in the deck, in his discard power. So he has no cards in his deck. If on his turn he goes to draw a card, it would immediately shuffle up and then go to the deck. Or if I were to hit him like with an attack that said, you got to discard the top card of your deck, for example. Or if the next supervillain did that. Not that I'm going to get it, but seriously. Oh, good. Actually, I might. Oh, wow, that's exactly enough. But for strategic reasons, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm sorry. I played this game too long. Oh. Okay, that's good. Oh, wow, actually. Let's do a little, I think I'm going to go with... Okay, so Countermatch. This is the card that I mentioned that was, like, the same as Super Speed, right? Same type, same abilities and everything. So this one is defense. So it has an effect, draw a card. If you play it like during your turn from your hand, you just draw a card. But if you defend with it, you draw 2, which is little known secret. Usually the person who gets the first supervillain, the first person who gets Ra's al Ghul, aka Uronaz, Ra's al Ghul. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not a comics buff. I just happen to like a game that was themed after comics. Oh crap, and he got it. Oh, but would you look at that? I can defend. Oh, wait, would you look at that? Okay, so here we have the multiple attacks going in, right? So he's hitting me with the chaos. Like, that's not going to do anything. But if I just go to hit none, it's like, are you sure? Right? But yeah, because I have a defense in my hand. This one I want to get rid of. For each card at the cost of... Oh, well, ironically, he's not going to have an effect either. This is going to be a pretty crappy turn. What's in the lineup? So you can click this button to alternate between what attacks you're looking at. Okay, so we're looking at the lineup. Okay, there is something for 3. Is anything for... Okay, so there's something for 3. I say I'm trying to like think ahead. Like, okay, these are the cards in my hand. If I defend with this, I will not draw a card, right? But excuse me, right? So if you play it, you'll just get 1 power, right? But if you defend with it, it performs a prophecy which will make the next card in my deck, and I don't know what it is. I could be making a mistake, right? But it'll add a +1 power to that'll last until the end of the game. So yeah, I do want to defend this time. But yeah, I was checking real fast to see like, the cards that are in my hand. Because like, if I didn't defend, right? He would not have had any effect because none of the cards in my hand cost 4 or more. So I wouldn't have gotten a Bane, which is the same thing as a weakness or a corruption. But so I had to check it versus the lineup, right? So they have a card for 3 and a card for 4. I kind of want them both, but it's not imperative that I get this one. If it was one of the artifacts, I might say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to defend, but so I can have the power from that Spirit Howl. But I'm going to get me a Brightmoon Brave. Start performing some more prophecies. And yep, sure enough, look at that. Got a Dingler with power now. The thing is, like, I don't want that because I was going to destroy that anyways. And that doesn't make it any more powerful than a Shard, aka a punch. So, okay, so that's really not good. But I have the time bug, so I have options. Now I can think real fast. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, you can click and hold on the cards to try and order them around. Okay, so let me do a running total real fast. If I were to play not the time bug first, I get +2, +1, +1, and another one, +1, and another one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could get 7 power, or I could play the time bug and hope that I get something better. But what is there for 7? Okay, with 7, I could get. We got some asterisks up here. That really kind of ups the ante. Yeah, let's go ahead and play. Oh, I forgot I had the Forgotten Forge. Okay, so I actually did slightly better, but that's not going to make a big difference. Because I gotta get one of these 5s. Now, consider my character, it's probably best if I get this one, the Warp Steel Widget. Now, this says, so there is, to my knowledge, there's no card that's exactly like this in the physical game, right? But it is still similar to some of the other concepts that you see. So it's a 5-cost card, which for this sort of a card, you know, like for the effect that you get for playing it, like if you cover up the everything past the first line, yeah, it's too expensive. But because it could potentially be worth a lot, then yeah, they have to up the price. Now, because it's an artifact, for me it would be +1 power and then draw a card. So this is definitely a win-win. And it's always good to have more of this guy around because, you know, because if I only have one of them, then, you know, I'm only drawing him like once every, like, 3 turns or whatever, and potentially more. Ooh, that's a really good card for me. Because I'm playing the Batman. Oh, no, what'd he get? Oh, crap, I didn't see that. What's he got? What'd he get? Okay, he got attacked by Grunt. Wait, what he... Okay, I'm sorry, I need to... Okay, here we go. Suffocate. Okay, oh, he just got another defense. Damn, he just got another defense? Okay, I do not have a boss, so this is still not going to have any effect. But I still want to defend because it's counter magic, aka super speed, aka eagles. So when I defend with him, I draw 2 cards, not 1. I really don't... Wow, this is crap. 2 Dinglers? Really? So even though I have Warp Steel Widget over here, I'm still going to want to play the Time Bug first. By hand. And even though there's only 4 cards, but it's still 1 more thanks to the location. Are you kind of starting to see how this game is played? Okay, let's see how the Exalted Professor do. A.k.a. Kid Flash, a.k.a. Vicky Vale, a.k.a. It's either Mary or Pippin, I don't remember which. Did he have a location? He better not. Okay, this is... It doesn't matter what order I play them. No. Wait, what the hell? Oh, right. I'm like... Oh! Yeah, I'll just get... okay, I'll stick to the plan. Just keep it simple. This video is already... This is already an hour. See, okay, when you play the digital game here, like what would normally take me like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, I can get through this in half an hour, right? Because the computer just handles everything. Okay, so now the attack is at... Oh, man. Okay, so you see how his power's in yellow here. When I saw this card earlier, it was a +2, but because he did his prophecy on it at one point, it became a +3. I don't like that. Yeah, because now this is a +3. Like I mentioned at the start of this video, you know, that's a pretty good average power for your cards to have, right? And considering how the current supervillain is a 12 cost, even if you had a full hand of +2s, that wouldn't be enough to get him. So yeah, you want to start breaking into 3s and 4s, and so having this, and like the fact that he only costs 3 to begin with, so he got a deal. He got a deal on this. Yeah, now his attack will have an effect. I'm just gonna say none because there's nothing I can do. But yeah, because it shows you all the attacks that are coming at you before your turn, I probably would have decided to defend if I had the opportunity to. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here we have an interesting card, another one that's, you know, got to be... I just like the art on that. That's fun. It's like, what deviant artist did this? Okay, so yeah, the Time Bug is not going to give me its original effect. But, again, because it's an artifact, I get a power boost, and because of my location, I will draw a card from it. Let's go ahead and play Scheme. You may gain an action. If you do, this is worth +1 VP. Kind of an interesting card, another one that gets stronger basically over time. Let's go ahead and do this. Oh, here we have this is a twist on X-ray vision. So steal intel. So instead of simply playing and then returning the card off the top of an opponent's deck, when you use this, it'll actually go into your hand temporarily. And again, you don't have to strain your memory to remember, oh, where do I put this? Who owned this, right? The computer will handle it and just throw it back to whatever player needs it. Let's go and play a Time Bug. They'll give me power and a draw. Okay, nothing, but better now than in my next hand. Okay, Whirling Brutalizer for 4 power, not just 2, because I have a location. And that brings me up to 8, and how about let's get this one. Okay, so Royal Valkyr. First of all, when you gain her, she sounds really angry. I hope you have the sound on. Okay, so this is the same as Green Arrow. Now, Green Arrow is worded a bit different. It says if you have 4 or more other heroes, right? But the way this is worded, I'm pretty sure she's counting herself in here. But yeah, so we have a 5 cost plus 2 power. It's worth 0 or 5 VP, depending on whether or not you have 5 heroes in the deck by the end of the game. And just because it's the only other option, let's go ahead and get an Oakhenge Ceremony, which is the same effect and cost as Cheetah, but a different type, right? Because Cheetah's a villain. For the original, right? No, obviously not in this game. No, he got the second super villain. Okay, now I gotta start. What do? Discard all cards with a cost of 5 or more. Oh. Okay, so he actually... Wow, I couldn't defend, and he actually hurt me. Okay, that blows. Okay, well, yeah, that was a fairly simple turn. Nothing to it. Oh, here we go. I definitely want this. It's my type, my character's ability related, and it's a defense, so I don't even have to think about this. I need that. I mean, technically, there are some other possibilities where I might have to think about it, but that was nice and short and simple. And, oh! What a surprise! The prophecy actually hit Ozawa's totem, which is good because this is my type of card, so now when I play it, it'll be +3. Oh, that's a good card. It's a good card to get it early on. Ooh, okay, so I think I might lose. Oh yeah, look, see, is running total 28, but sheesh. Okay, see, well now I don't want to defend because this is actually worth pretty well. Gotta be kidding me. Okay, what's my discard pile? There are no dinglers in here, so it's gonna be a shard that he puts on top of my deck. I think I'll live. Yes, okay, yeah. Why? This is my punishment for talking too much. Wow. Hook me up with the Brightmoon Brave and the Neophyte of Zarlox. If your player have played an attack this turn, draw a card. Okay, so I can't think of another card exactly like that, but I have seen some similar in the physical game, including like Goblin Runner or Gizmo. Okay, what do we got? Oh, do I want to do the Time Bug? I don't know. No. Okay, let's start with the Warp Steel Widget. All right. Okay, so I got a power from his ability because it's an artifact. I think I can stop saying. Oh, now we're gonna get to see, right? Because I played a Time Bug, which is a cost of 2. Time Bug, which is a cost of 2. Yeah, his power bonus didn't apply a second time for a 2-cost artifact, so that kind of blows. Okay, so I'm gonna play Oakhenge Ceremony. Now look here, see at the top, right? So this message box I think is a really nice feature, right? So it'll tell you what card you're deciding for at any given moment, right? So rather than, like for example, if I wanted both Overcharge and Dream Smoke Mystic, I could get them both right now. But right now it's asking me not for what I'm buying with power, but what I'm getting with the Oakhenge Ceremony. Okay, now I gotta stop and think for a second. So, I'm gonna. Oh, I don't like my odds right now. There are some more complex math, that you could think of right here, but yeah, it's all like within, like single digits, right? I guess I'm gonna go ahead and take Overcharge because right now I got 4 power. I'm gonna play these 3, which will give me another 3 and put me up to 7. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wind up getting one of these talismans because they're defenses and artifacts. I really want the War Drums though. Okay, so the War Drums. Sorry, just real fast. The War Drums. +2 power, bosses cost 2 less this turn. Again, unlike the, like a more slightly tempered down version, this is actually Green Arrow's bow, but it costs 1 more than the original. Yeah, so I'm going to take Overcharge. I really got to start building up my power, man. Just going to play all these. Hook me up at a Talisman, and I'm going to head grab a Valor just cause. Got to even out the damn Dinglers. Dinglerberg. Okay, yeah, so yeah, real fast, you saw the Milky Eye Infiltrator, and that hit him. I don't think he had any ongoing, so it didn't matter. Right, so it showed the sword but no shield. Put a random starter from your discount. Oh! Let's hit him up with that counter magic. Oh, he might be in trouble now. I got the Eye of Chaos. Solitude is but a part of chaos. What do we got? Let's do this first. No. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. They both do the same thing. Well, one's just stronger. Oh, yes! Played as Overcharge. Overcharge appears to be a simplified version of Aquaman's Trident, so it's an equipment / artifact. 3 cost, 1 VP, 2 power. And it says put the next card you buy or gain from the lineup this turn on top of your deck. Again, that's part of like the programming versus the physical streamlined thing. So this one says the next card rather than just a card from this turn, right? Not just to streamline the gameplay, but also the reading, right? So it's a lot simpler that way. Let's go ahead and do let's do the Eye of Chaos now. Okay, so so the way it's worded doesn't square quite with how it's playing, but you can only play against one opponent, so I guess it does that to be fair. So I'm going to take that, and, well, it lets you take both. And these will go back to his. Yeah. But, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm a +1 Dingler. Ugh. Hit up the Whirling Brutalizer. Let's draw a card. Okay, so it keeps the order of the cards that you played in the bar here. Now, when I play the physical game, I tend to separate cards that add power and cards that don't. And oftentimes, especially with like +1s or whatever, if I buy or gain cards and then keep playing, I'll move cards that had power into like the part of my play area that didn't. To indicate that those aren't counting anymore for that turn. Oh yeah, I never said it outright, but I probably should have said, the power resets to 0 every turn. You probably got that by now. It's not like Yahtzee. Yeah, you can't. And also, cards in your hand will get discarded. So you probably should have said that. I don't know. I was just looking at so many different things. I want to say. So the glow around the cards is currently showing a teal glow or a bluish glow instead of the usual yellow. That's because that's the color of your deck. Because I played Overcharge, the next card I get is going on top of my deck, not to my discard pile. That's why it's highlighted like that. But the Valor is still being highlighted with yellow because if I were to get Valor, it would go to the deck. When you're playing the Orc Captain guy, the one who's like Aquaman, because his ability has you put certain cards on top of your deck instead of in the discard pile. For example, in this lineup, without having played Overcharge, these 3 would still be in teal, but these 2 would be in yellow, highlighted. Because when you buy or gain them, that's the spot where they're going to go. Just another interesting detail. Not interesting, but also helpful, and again help speed things along and make it easier to understand. Said a mouthful again. Oh, I have a scheme. Let's scheme. There's only one thing here, so. Oh, how convenient! It's a defense that will go on top of my deck. That way, no matter what happens, that way if something happens during his turn, or if he were to get the supervillain, God forbid. Actually, I could get the supervillain. What the hell am I saying? Actually, hang on. Do I want to though? Because there are still. Because he's taken 2 Super Vs so far. Okay, I get a bit of choice here. I'm not sure I want to. I think I want to load up on equip. Excuse me. I think I want to load up on equipment. Crazed Raider, and let's just throw in a Val. Well, it doesn't. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. You see, it didn't add to my VP, so I might have just skipped out on it. But because I still have a lot of starters and these crappy +1s, including the +1 Dingler, damn it. I might still want to have some of those to. Well, anyways. Yadim. Yeah, since I had 2 cards in my deck, and then you have to draw 5. And, oh wow. Okay, so yeah, we got. Oh, how lucky! I have 2 defenses now. And, this is him attacking, so I'm going to suffocate him, right, because this is actually a bit of a counterattack. So I draw a card as part of the defense, but then he's going to gain a weakness. A bane. Here we have the Killipede, who is almost the same thing as Deathstroke, right? Same cost, VP value. So it says destroy a hero, villain, or artifact in your hand or discard pile. Deathstroke would say superpower, aka action, instead of villain. And it would also say reveal your hand. So actually, I guess, since I'm going up against the computer, it doesn't really matter. The log wouldn't show me his hand at the time of being attacked, so It's kind of a non-sequitur. But, like, okay, so... Okay, one thing I don't like so far is that I can't see this guy's play effect, right? So I can see what he's doing when he's attacking, right? I can't see what he does... well, okay, I guess it doesn't really matter until I get to it. What if I do this? Nope, yeah, he's still showing boss attack, right? So this text will change to what he does when you actually play him, if he were to go in your deck, after I deal with this jackass. So let's go ahead and defend with that. I draw 2 cards instead of 1. Might as well, because I was about to get a 5 artifact. Ooh, mouthful. See, now if I double-click or right-click him, it says, you may gain a hero or a villain, otherwise +2 power. Yeah, that's the same as Deathstroke in DC1. Let's see. Okay. By the way, it says you may gain, so there's no cost limit on that, right? So I could get a hero or villain that costs like 6 or 7 just by playing him. But if not, I could just take him for the power bonus, right? So like say there were 2 that were worth 2 each, right? It would be better if I just took the power, because then I could take one of them and then keep going. Anyways, okay, not my best hand, not my worst hand. Let's go ahead and start with that. I draw 2 cards, one from himself and one from the location. Ooh, War Drums. Ooh, okay, so his cost dropped temporarily. I don't know if I want to keep that, though. Let's go ahead and play these, because this is all just power. Okay, let's see. 12 by... Oh my god! Could not have gone better. Let's get this. And... this. Finally! I got the chance to defeat one. Okay, now things are probably going to start picking up, because I took an abnormally long amount of time to... Okay, so this card here, just real fast, this is the same as Nth Metal. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, right? It's Hawkman's thing from DC1, although Hawkman wouldn't appear until DC2. Or Mirror of Galadriel from Lord of the Rings 1. Fellowship of the... I think it was 1. I don't really remember. Right, 3 cost, equipment / artifact, 1 VP, 1 power. Look at the top card of your deck, you may destroy it, right? Now it says look at... Not everyone gets to see that, right? It's just you personally getting to look at it, right? Not the whole game doesn't get to observe, right? This is a really good card early on, because if you get it like late, then it's almost a guarantee that you're going to reveal a card that you don't want to destroy. But in my case, because I get the power bonus from Artifact, it's still good if I were to obtain it, because it would still be worth at least 2. Okay, here we have... Oh, you need a new generic supervillain? Why not Bogberg? Put the top card of your deck into your discard pile. If it costs 1 or more, you may just... Okay, so here we have almost the same thing as Black Manta from the original, but this guy costs 1 more and gives 1 more VP than Black Manta, which probably makes a little sense, because Black Manta was tied with Ra's al Ghul and on his stats otherwise. But yeah, his play effect is +3 power and draw a card. Oh, I can't defend. Okay, so now it's going to show me... Okay, so yeah. So again, the effect box up here says Bogberg the Gobbler. That's what I'm handling for. Now, my option is I can discard my hand. I don't want to do that. Do I? No, I don't. I have an okay hand. Again, I didn't start out great. This card... I mean, yeah, I'm going to lose a VP, but it's not very punishing for me to lose this. So what I can do is I can either drag him over to the Void to destroy him, or I can just right-click and hit him, because that's the action that's going to occur. And you see the card gets Thanos snapped into this big hole here. Wow, a lot of stuff's gotten destroyed. Yeah, but all the starters getting destroyed. That's from him. What the hell, man? Oh, it's because he has this guy, the doy. I gotta step up my game. Does he have a location yet? No, I think I snatched up all the locations. Okay, well, there's 5 Super Vs left. Okay, so yeah, again, the free-to-play model right now, every single time it's going to be the same 9 supervillains. Just pointing that out. Okay, let's get started. Throw you out there. Really? Dinglerberg. Okay, get a... Ah! That's not enough. Okay, what do we got? Oh! This is interesting. Valorous Hunter. I'm not going to get it this turn. Right, 4-cost hero. 1 VP, no power, but you put a Valor into your hand. But wait, it does more than that, right? This is actually a stronger version of Supergirl from DC1, who only does the second half, right? Which is it says put a kick from the stack into your hand. So basically you gain a Valor. Well, actually, no, it doesn't even say you gain in the original. It just says to put. So, but 99% of the time it would be exactly the same. But this one has a secondary effect that will actually allow you to sacrifice a Valor, which in this game is actually much less punishing because it's not worth any VP. And then you can draw 3 cards, which would be an amazing effect for Supergirl, right? But would probably ramp up her cost just a little bit, maybe. Although, to be fair, because the kicks are actually worth something, Supergirl does add to your score a little bit each turn every time you use her, too. Other than that, they're the same. Oh, but wait, maybe I want the Might Singer, because that's, she appears to be a much stronger version of Princess Diana of Themyscira. Because there's no cost limit on her villain gain, although, to be fair, they put that cost limit on at a time when all the villains had a cost of 7 or less in the main deck, right? I think they did that just so they wouldn't confuse new players, right, to gaining a supervillain. Like, thinking he was in the... Oh, no, not just confuse, because supervillains would also appear in the lineup in some alternate modes. Also, I just realized, I tied the score. Yay! But no, I think again, for strategic reasons, I'm going to want him... Wait, what? All right. This, and that leaves me with a Valor, and I'm going to... I don't want to play Bane, shut up. It's not Bane from DC. DC's #1! I'm kidding, I don't know. Speaking of Bane, he just got Bane! The original Bane! This one right here. The hell? No. You. What? Okay, well, it's... No. What? Okay, I can't get it to zoom in on the right card. That's... Okay, okay, well, that villain card that he just bought is the same thing as Bane in DC1. 4-cost villain, 1 VP, 2 power. Each foe discards a card, right? 1 by choice. Start with you. Ooh. Of course. Why would it be any other way? Okay, so this one, you destroy a card in the lineup, and then you can destroy a card in your hand. Or you could skip both instances. Oh, wait, okay, now I gotta do a little running power total. So we got 4 now. And I can only ever get 1 more so this turn. So I think I'm just gonna get rid of the Might Singer. But now I'm gonna get rid of the Dingler. Thank you! Sheesh. Okay, we go over here, and I get 5. I think I want to get rid of... no, I'm going to buy Field Medic, because I want it. So this appears to be an alternate take on King of Atlantis. You know, which is... first Aquaman's... That's his hero card. I don't know, maybe I want Oracle Song, though, because I don't want him... Oh, but he's already got a lot of... Shoot, I don't know. How long would it take for me to reshuffle? I could probably get him back. Yeah, I'll take Field Medic. But then I'm going to destroy something else. I don't want you getting the Oracle Song! And there's nothing in my hand, so I gotta hit none. And yeah, I can end my turn. Wow, okay, I'm doing slightly better. And he's going to... yeah, just got a big boost. Okay, for each artifact in your hand, discard a card. Oh, would you look at that? Yes! Okay. So, this is the equipment version of Bulletproof. But it's actually slightly better because you do the destroy before you draw a card, which means that you know, you can still yes, now I can get rid of Bane here. AKA weakness. Gained from suffocate. Oh! That's interesting. It tells you where you got it. Oh, that is wacky. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Yeah, that's right. I forgot he had suffocate. Oh, I like that little... Shows the attack blowing up against the... I don't know, I kind of wish they had more variants of that. Let's do... Oh, no, don't want to do Time Book first. Let's do... Scheme. I want that Oracle song. Give it to me. Oh, ironic. I prophesied a Brightmoon Brave. Now he's +1 and perform a prophecy. Cool. Let's see what I got. Oh, that's not bad. Royal Valkyrie with a 3. Yeah, that's because now it's an extra valuable card. Oh, and look, it shows a 5 because I currently meeting its condition. And that's another thing. Like I said, that you know, again, that's mostly in digital. How I can keep a running tally of your VP in both cases. Okay, let's hit him up with the Eye of Chaos. Oh, nasty. Dude, it is so rare that you actually get this to get good cards. Because like, I swear, like the first game that I played, or the first 2 games that I played, when I got Steel Intel, it only picked up Shards and Dinglers, aka punches and vulnerabilities, aka exactly how it works in real life. But then, one of the later games I played last night, I actually got 2 supervillains. Actually, specifically a supervillain and then John Jones. Oh, I'm sorry, this game's version of John Jones. Or John Johns. Martian Manhunter's name. Which basically you play the current supervillain without owning it, right? It's like a copycat card. Anyways, so that was a rare card. What does he do? Oh, draw 3 cards. Yeah, just do that. Let's draw another one. Let's draw another one. Okay then. What happens if I... Oh, I think I'm gonna get the Super V. Would you look at that? Yep. Yep. Now it's all happening a little bit faster. Break that frame. And let's go and get that. Okay, so with power, all I can get is Valor. But wait, I can gain a card with the cost of 4 or less. Oh. I don't think the scheme is going to help me this late, so let's go ahead and get Valorous Hunter. And I could get Valor, but I think I'll live without it. Yikes. Ding, 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 ding. Zedu. There was an intergalactic emperor, and his name was Zedu. For each villain in the line of King of Bane. It looks like 2, but I could do... Oh, I could just do counter magic. Oops, hold on. Let me... You can also do that so you don't have to flick back and forth between the screens. Oh, Tianost. Discard a random card. Oh yeah, that could be nasty. So let's go ahead and defend again. I wasn't this lucky earlier, and I wasn't this lucky last night. Oh look, we're still neck and neck with the score. Okay, but this is the second to last supervillain. So I gotta... Or boss. So I gotta keep that in mind. And yeah, I definitely want to hurry things up a little. Oh, how convenient. Oh, but wait. Do I not have any equipment? See, because the Killipede is an either-or thing, I want to hold off and see. Okay, so if I were to play him for the power, I would not have enough to get Tianost. So let's go ahead and play the Killipede to gain Royal Valkyrie, because that will be worth a lot of VP, as if I had gotten a supervillain. I'm sorry, boss. Let's go ahead and use this. I don't want you having my recovery specialist. Yes, UNZ is part of the team. Bye. Oh, maybe that wasn't a great idea. Ugh. Oh, wait, I can get him. I forgot I have power. Doi. Get Ozawa, Cosmic Elder. No comment on that picture. Why did I zoom in? Eek. Okay, okay. If I want to win it, I gotta get the last guy. But then also, so see. Oh jeez. Emperor Nox. Resolve each attack in your hand. Do I have an attack? No, so I don't gotta worry about him. Chaos Lock. Put the next boss from your deck into your discard pile. That I might have to worry about. Oh dear. I think I'm gonna have to defend Chaos Lock. but let this one hit. So now we're on. So now the action changes to show me what's happening. So Crypt Curse Temptress, I need to discard one of these. This will not offer me power, so I'm gonna ditch Oakhenge Ceremony. Now we have Chaos Lock. If I were to draw a supervillain, I really don't want that knocking me out. Just gonna go ahead and draw you. Oh, that wasn't great. Okay, and Emperor Nox has no effect. One thing I will point out, one mistake that I have noticed in the game so far, I don't know if it's a bug, might be, because of the way the attacks are queued up, if I had attacks in my hand, in the real game, now, let's be fair, maybe this is me misinterpreting the rules, right? So in the real game, when this happens, it'll say, this attack cannot be defended, right? But, or it just wouldn't even present it in the form of an attack, right? So I tried defending this one last night, but then the attacks that he would have caused appeared next in the queue anyways, because they were already, in the event queue down here. So when Emperor Nox attacks, ignore him every time. Well, ignore the main part. The next part's, where you attack yourself. Yeah, go ahead and defend if you need to. But okay, so yeah, ooh, it doesn't look like I'll be able to win. Oh wait, but I've got War Drum. Oh, I might be able to win it. Okay, so yeah, so he has 61, I have 59. It's almost a guarantee because he's so powerful by now with his prophesizing all day long that he will. Oh, and Emperor Nox only cost 9. Oh wait, I'm sorry, he was 11. Doy, I just played War Drums. Oh, but he has War Drums, so okay. Well, the point is he has a lot of tricks. It's almost guaranteed that he'll get him. Really, you're gonna give me Scheme now? Ugh. Let's play Oracle Song. Valor, come on. Is that enough? Oh, barely enough. Nice. You guys do a Goblin Cooking Pot? None. Yeah, I don't want to destroy that. Oh, right, I forgot, because I get the power bonus from... Yeah, take him. Phew! With that, I have 1. But the turn's not over yet. I still have a couple more things. Let's go ahead and scheme, because I can increase... Even though this scheme will be worthless, the one that I'm holding, the scheme that I just played, will be worth a little more. Yeah, now that's up to 4 VP. Wow, that's nice. I can go ahead and play a... Well, that's pretty pointless. Okay, so the first time I won, there was a treasure chest here, but that's pretty pointless. Yes! I win! Me! Just me. Okay, so yeah, you can see a little result here where it shows you, where it kind of breaks down... Ooh, turns, power attack. Oh yeah, it breaks down your stats. How much VP you got from each type of card, right? So yeah, the hero, yeah, because of those like Royal Valkyries, that was +5 each. So yeah, hero, of course, I got the biggest boost from that, and because I collected so many artifacts, including the Warp Steel. In fact, yeah, let's look. Where is the Warp Steel widget? Oh, that didn't do anything. Well, I just collected a lot of them overall. Oh, that was worth 5 by the end. Okay, that's cool. Shut up. Location. Wait, where are the locations? Artifact. Move. Damn it. Ah. Okay, it's still kind of buggy. It's not perfect yet. Show me a Bane action. Okay, so it's not listing my locations for VP, but they were worth 1 each. Not sure why I didn't list them. Wait, what did I get in terms of bosses? Damn it. Okay, so I got... it shows your card for some reason with a VP value. Yeah, I only got 3 of the bosses. But see, I because I got all those asterisks, and because I had so many of the other cards. Oh yeah, you look, see, he's still prophesized. I'm sorry, she is still prophesized with the 3 there, and the 2 there, and the one I got later. Anyways, Shards, the deck builder, play it, try it. This was not paid. If this were a paid advertisement, I would have played with like the full thing, but I'm a filthy casual and poor, so I just played like regular. So yeah, when you win a match, you get 20 Void Ether. If you lose a match, you still get 10. All right. So now, I'm not saying it's worth the value necessarily, but because I'm already a fan of this particular game, the one designed by Hyra, right? The Cryptozoic, Kerberos engine, yada yada, whatever. I guess now I gotta start saying the Matt Hyra games. Huh, what else Matt Hyra has done? I would say I think this is a freemium game I will actually pay for. Right now, of course, years ago I admit I've done it for both Family Guy, Quest for Stuff, and The Simpsons Tapped Out. Okay, that's wasn't really the best part of my life, wasn't the worst, but it was also a time when I was, much more lazy, frivolous, and I mean, I also had a little bit more earning power at the time. Life still wasn't going anywhere, but of course, like, compare this to Mobius Final Fantasy, which I've been playing for like 2.5 years by now. Jeez, really? Time flies. Oh, that is not good. Blitz is dead. No, Cetus is dead. Blitz is going to remove himself, going to Thanos himself away. No. But the point is, no, I'm actually really cut up about that. That second one, I didn't know Cetus. Sorry, guys. Or was it Ketas? Oh, see, I maybe I should stop talking. Stop doing damage to myself. No, for real. But because I love this particular game, I want to see all of what they got to offer here. I want to see the other. Apparently they got raids. I don't know what that is. What that's supposed to be. No, not shop. Expansion. Oh yeah, here we go. Raids. Requires premium. No crap. Fear of Uranas or the Might of Yadim. I don't know if that's actually pronounced. I don't know. What would you buy? Yes. So this particular game I do want to buy because I do want to challenge other people. Of course, I'll probably get my ass kicked. Realistically, because it's always like you're always confident about these games until you actually try them against another person, right? Another person who has gone through all the cycles that you have, right? Only unlike a lot of the other games, like say Smash Bros. Or Dissidia, I actually have had a fair deal of practice with this particular game. Not in group settings, though, unfortunately. But yeah, I think it would be worth it, but not just for anyone, right? Play the main game a few times. Quick match doesn't do anything. Play the main game a few times, get a feel for it. If it's not for you, leave it alone, right? Here we got Bertram again, or it could be Sagebrush. I think it would be Sagebrush next, so I can show you how that works. Yeah, this I'm like, how do I put it? This is something that I have been kind of discreetly hoping would occur, right? Something that I did want to see happen at some point. So I'm really glad. I'm like super glad I discovered it. And like, it's funny, like, it's actually, so how would I do it? On Steam, right? The Steam, right? Because they got like their holiday event going on or whatever, like, festivity tokens. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, too bad I can't use the festivity tokens in this game. That'd be nice. I wonder if I have enough festivity tokens to get. Oh, but no, I couldn't fit. Anyways, I actually discovered it like by accident. I wasn't looking for it. I never thought they would actually adapt the DC Comics deck building game to this. DC Comics, etc. Obviously, I mean, the whole Cryptozoic lineup. I wasn't expecting that. I honestly thought I was really expecting. No, it was because I was trying to do one of the quests to see if I could get like the tokens. So they had like one. They had like join a chat room. I'm not doing that. But they had like another ones like use the deep dive tool or something like that. Basically like a more like this Explorer, and so like they had like sliders, right? Do you want to browse more popular games or more niche games? So of course, because I hate popular games. Screw Undertale. Okay, well that's not a raw pattern, but essentially because that's not what I'm looking for. I just thought, what for kicks? Okay, because I like Age of Empires. I'm not good at it, but that would be a more popular game. Niche, like it's niche to a certain degree, but like as far as like that genre goes, it is very well known. I think. Not like Oh, and this is also a godsend because, like, I always struggle to explain to people the Kerberos engine, Cryptozoic. It's DC Comics, but it's also Lord of the Rings. There's Street Fighter. If you like Attack on Titan, they got that too. Oh no, they got Rick and Morty. Come on back. It's always such a pain in the ass to explain. With this, there's no brand that I gotta try and figure out. Oh, they gotta be more responsive to, do they like Batman? Do they like Rick and Morty? Or maybe they're a Middle Earth fan. That whole guessing game goes away, right? With the generic branding, we can just play the game for the game, right? On the other hand, if you are a fan of certain branding, of course, that comes out, it is a bit of a con, right? But it's still easier to try and explain the overarching concept of the Kerberos engine deck building game when we have a much shorter, much easier to say Shards the Deckbuilder. Boom, done. It is what it is. And it's its own theme too, so I don't have to go off explain. Okay, well, first in 2014 they introduced the Street Fighter deck building game, and then in 2015 they introduced Crisis for DC1. It was an expansion, but you got to use one of the Ds, right? But so what I did was I actually put the slider from popular to niche, closer to niche, not all the way to niche. You never go full niche. But I put it pretty close to niche, and then I saw this thing, Shards the Deckbuilder. I'm like, whatever. I'll just click it, just to get out of this menu. And I look at it, and I'm like, oh no, I saw the deck builder. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll click it. I'll check it out later, see if it's any good. Oh, hey, it says free to play. Okay, yeah, we can definitely do that. And then I click. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that? Did you say? Oh, no. Okay, well, this one obviously doesn't apply. But power? What? Champ types ongoing? It's like. Oh! That was really bad. Can we cut that out of the recording? Oh shit, I'm talking to myself. I was just so amazed. Like, I was not expecting to find this. Excellent. Just excellent. Excellent find. Give it a try. If you got a PC, if you got Steam, if you got a tablet, give it a try. Can finally just straight up say, try Shards the Deckbuilder. If you like that, you might also love the DC Comics deck building game, DC Comics deck building game 2, Heroes Unite, DC Comics deck building game 3, Forever Evil, DC Comics deck building game 4, Teen Titans, DC Comics deck building game 5. Actually, I don't. Actually, we haven't gotten past 4, so, right? The Street Fighter deck building game, Naruto Shippuden deck building game, Attack on Titan deck cooperative. That one's a little weird, but it's. My friends like Attack on Titan. Oh, okay, but like now again, like the thing is like, okay, now I don't have to explain the theme. I just say, go to Steam, download this now. It's free to play. Of course, then they'll be like, okay, yeah, but I can't play you because I haven't paid. I was just like, just try the game, see if it's cool. That's the theme, overarching theme of today. Other than just hearing me blathering on about comparisons between this and the existing physical product that you can go out and buy for somewhere between $20 and $40 a pop. Shards the Deckbuilder. I recommend it. Definitely recommend it. And again, I'm gonna try and buy the season pass soon because this is my jam, right? But I'm not saying like that's an essential item for everyone to have, right? But of course, I do hope to see this. I do hope to see Matt Hyra's design spread a bit. Oh man, wouldn't it suck if he turned out to be like a really terrible individual? Maybe we should stop giving him credit. I hope to see that. Well, I don't know. I guess he's the credit. I don't know. Gotta take a break. Good night. I'm NQT. Bye.